Hi, and welcome to another episode of Around the Neighborhood with me, Scott McMahon, your local real estate professional. Today we're in West Linn at Wilderness Park, and one of the things about neighborhoods is the neighbors. So one of my dear friends and neighbors happens to be Randall Jahnson. He's the screenwriter of The Doors and The Mask of Zorro, and he shares with us how he got those jobs and what it was like working on those projects, as well as why did he and his family move to West Linn. So let's take a look. West Linn is located in the southern suburbs of the Portland metro area, just across the river from Oregon City. With just over 26,000 residents, West Linn is home to one of the best school districts in the state. It offers numerous parks, river access, dining and shopping throughout the neighborhoods, including its charming historic district. The prices for single-family homes range anywhere from $200,000 to $2 million. For the past few years, the median home price has been increasing beyond $525,000. How did you get started with screenwriting?
Well, I went to film school.
Which one?
UCLA.
Okay.
And I had the ambition to be a director.
Oh.
But the way film school was structured at that time, at least at UCLA, you had to finance your own advanced film projects. So if I wanted to really get into it seriously, then I would have had to finance my own project. And I didn't have that money. So I found that writing paper, typing paper, was very cheap. And that was the way to really focus on getting stories told.
How did you end up getting the gig for The Doors?
Well, it was a confluence of several factors. You know, the
If I'm doing this, by the way, it's just because I'm going ahead of you because I'm getting the spider webs.
Oh, are you? Well, it's September, and the orb spiders come out, and this is that's why I always, usually in the mornings anyway, when I come through this wonderful wilderness park, I carry a stick with me to always kind of
Well, I'm your stick.
hack our
Literally,
way.
I'm getting whacked. Anyway, so I was asking, how'd you end up getting the job for The Doors?
It was several factors. Hollywood is a kind of a streaky business. It's not unlike professional sports. So when you're hot, and people want to have you. Mm-hmm. And so I had a quirky independent film called Dudes that was in production or heading into production at that time. And kind of the word on the street was that it was pretty cool and kind of a hip thing that was going to star John Cryer from Pretty in Pink, and did star John, right. And Catherine Mary Stewart, and watch the logs.
Oh yeah,
here.
no, I got my ears going, my eyes going, but ears. Then
you get kind of on a roll, and so when they started looking for a writer on the Doors project, I was very interested in doing it, but it was a long shot because I was still pretty green. Mm-hmm. But it was very helpful because my roommate from college, from UCLA and film school, Mike Petzold, his girlfriend, who ultimately became his wife, was the executive in charge of development of the project at Columbia TriStar. So. And she had asked Mike at one point, she said, oh my gosh, she said, this is a high profile project. I know nothing about rock music. So who do you know? Who do you know? Who do you think would be good for this? And Mike immediately, God bless him, said, hey, you should talk to Randy. So that got me in the room. So I had one initial meeting with the producer on the project, and it ended up being a couple hours long. And then that led to a meeting then with the surviving members of The Doors. Ray Manzarek, their keyboardist, he and Jim Morrison had both gone to UCLA.
Oh,
so,
nice.
In fact, we had some of the same instructors. Ray and I sat down and we immediately clicked on all that because of the UCLA experience.
Right.
Okay, so we had that in common. And the instructors, and so we kind of spoke each other's language. Another factor too was that I was making music videos for, this is in the very early primitive days of MTV, and I was making very early primitive music videos for punk rock bands.
Oh yeah.
Like Black Flag with Henry.
I love it. Like Black Flag.
And Henry yeah, and Henry Rollins and the Minutemen and Stan Ridgway and stuff. And anyway, so musically, I guess I was kind of hip. And when I met with the Doors, I argued that, you know, the Doors were much more punk rock than they were sort of hippie music. I love this part of the forest, by the way, because this is, and it's so great that, I mean, I'm in here 3 or 4 times a week. This forest was, and this park is not manicured like the other parks in town. You know, when I'm working a lot and stuff and staring at a screen, it's just great to have come down here and walk for 20 minutes, a half hour, and clear my mind out. And
so you finished the Doors. I know there's more to that story that you don't have to get into in terms of like working with Oliver Stone or not working with him. And then, but how did you end up getting the gig for Mask of Zorro?
So I was contacted by my agency at the time, which was, how do you feel about writing a movie for Steven Spielberg? And it's like, boy, I had to think about that for about like 5 seconds. You know? And of course, the correct answer is, I love it. Of course, I would want to do that. So, our meetings with the development team, staff, and whatever, and then I slowly found myself climbing up the sort of the ladder. Cut to finally, I meet Spielberg himself. He was in production on Hook at that time. Right. So I had to go meet him down at the old MGM lot where he was shooting on one of the sound stages. This is before CGI, you know. And so they were in one of the great old storied sound stages there with literally a kind of like a cast of thousands. And but I met him in his trailer. He came in during a break, and we started chatting, and he said, "Oh yeah, you know, I read your Doors script, and I saw, you know, I've heard good things about the movie, haven't seen it yet, but so this is, how do you feel about Zorro and stuff?" So I said, "Hey, great." They wanted to reinvent the character and set him during the California Gold Rush, which I said, "Oh, that's really cool." And he had a lot of very ambitious ideas about it, all of which appealed to me. So,
because you're a big history buff,
I'm a big,
research.
I love history. You know, that would have been if I had failed as a journalist, I would have been looking into becoming a history professor. Or something like that, historian, and maybe written on. Our meeting was interrupted then by one of Spielberg's assistants, and he came running in, and they said they needed him back on the set. So he said, "Look, I got to go back to the set. If I'm not back in 10 minutes, just come on over the set and just meet me over there." I'm like, okay.
Okay.
And so he goes out the door, and I go, "Oh, please God, let him not come back. Let him not come back. I want to go to that set." And sure enough, I waited like 15 minutes, and then the gopher person came and got me. So I remember leaving his trailer, and just as I'm coming out, up comes, there at the door coming in are George Lucas and Carrie Fisher looking for Steven. And I said, "Come on, he's down at the set, let's go." So I arrived on the set, and which at that point was literally the pirate ship. Hook's pirate ship, and there was like a cast of like, you know, a couple hundred extras of pirates, you know, in full gear and garb, you know, there. And I literally had to walk the plank to get up onto it, because Spielberg had the camera rig up on the stern of a portion of the deck. And so I was brought over, and he waved me down, and he said, "Oh, hey, have you met Robin Williams? You know?" "Well, hello, hi, Robin." You know, shake my hand. And so then he brings over Dustin Hoffman, and Dustin Hoffman's in full outfit, regalia and costume, and he doesn't break character at all. He actually literally holds out his hook for me to shake.
Oh my gosh.
Which was a lot of fun. The thing that was most impressive was Spielberg himself, because he would be carrying on a conversation with me about what he wanted to do with Zorro, and was very interested in hearing my ideas, because I had really, I said one of the things I would love to see is make him much more ethnic, much more Latino, as opposed to the real blue-eyed, white Castilian kind of character. And he said, yeah. And I said, base him on, on like some of the famous bandits from the California Gold Rush era, like Joaquin Murrieta and stuff. And he loved that. He thought, that's really cool. But he would have these moments where, okay, he would just say, okay, hold that thought, okay, and then he would go and do the thing, direct, okay, boom, 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 and action and cut. So what I'm thinking about Zorro is, and it was just it was seamless how he could go back and forth from having a conversation with me that was completely sincere and enthusiastic and informed, with multiple takes on the set with, Dustin Hoffman and Robin Williams, and literally a cast of a couple hundred people. It was one of the most amazing things I'd ever seen. However, I would not be the only writer ultimately on it.
No, they had way too many.
But I was the first.
Yeah.
Of what would be 9 screenwriters and 32 drafts of the screenplay. But ultimately, it was my characters and my story that
got it going.
Got it going and made it to the screen. So I am credited, not for story, not for screenplay. Although I argued for that, lobbied for that, but that didn't happen.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Welcome to West Linn.
Yeah, look at this.
Well, West Linn's great. It's still kind of a bedroom community. There's a lot of really creative, really interesting people here, and you just don't know it. And it's a lot of people from show business too, actually.
If you want more information about Randall Jahnson, all his information is down below this video, as well as my information is down below this video if you are interested in buying or selling a home here in West Linn, especially if you're looking to move to a neighborhood like this in West Linn. Definitely give me a call. For everyone else, if you're interested in the whole real estate process, I invite you to grab my free video series at freesecrets.net. That's at freesecrets.net. Thanks again for tuning in to Around the Neighborhood with me, Scott McMahon, your local real estate professional, and I'll see you around the neighborhood. Woodpeckers. My mom calls them woody woodpeckers. Like,
yeah, they are.
Always like, that woody woodpecker.
Yeah.
Oh, that woody woodpecker.
When we first moved here, I was walking in here one day and I heard one, and I couldn't believe how similar it was to the woody woodpecker, sound effect in the cartoon.
My mom was right there.
Kidding me? Oh yeah.
I explained to her.
They're really loud. Yeah. And they're fun to watch. They're fascinating to watch.
I explained to her, like, it's not woody woodpecker. It's a woodpecker. No, the woody woodpecker. Anyway, so